The F-22 Raptor, America's icon of air dominance. Built in the 1990s, still untouchable today. Now it's getting new skin, new sensors, new weapons, tuned for the 2030s. And the cost? Millions, not billions. The Pentagon is betting oceans of cash on the F-47, a sixth-generation Phantom with a $300 million price tag per jet. So here's the fight. Does America need a trillion-dollar future? Or can the Raptor's rebirth hold the skies? Breaking news in the money war. For years, the story was simple. The F-22 was finished. Too few built, too costly to upgrade, too hard to keep alive. The Air Force wanted to retire squadrons early and push everything into the shiny new NGAD program. But in Washington, reality hit. There is no replacement ready, not this decade. And in the Pacific, China isn't waiting. So in 2025 and FY 2026 budgets, the Raptor suddenly got its second life. Congress blocked early retirements. The Pentagon carved out new lines. $90 million for a program called Viability, engineering to keep the jet combat credible into the 2030s. A $270 million integration contract for the infrared search and track IRST-IRDS system, a 360-degree missile warning and stealth detection suite the Raptor never had. Funding for stealth, 600-gallon drop tanks and fasted pylons, a fix for the Raptor's greatest weakness, range. It's not billions like NGAD, it's measured in hundreds of millions. But it's enough to take a 1990s jet and wire it for tomorrow's battlefield. The logic is brutal. NGAD and the F-47 are years away. Prototype costs run $2.5 to $3.5 billion every year. And unit cost will dwarf even the F-35. The Air Force can't bet the Pacific on a paper jet. The F-22, alive and kicking, fills that gap. Even Air Combat Command admitted it. No near-term replacement exists. Translation: keep the Raptor sharp or surrender the skies. So today, squadrons that were once preparing to sunset are training with new software loads, new cockpit displays, and new weapons on the way. The jet that first flew when Bill Clinton was president is now being tuned for a fight with Beijing in the 2030s. And the irony? Congress found the money faster than it finds consensus on anything else. When the choice is losing the skies or writing another check, the checkbook always wins. They don't even register on the same scale. A $90 million viability program line. A $270 million contract for IRST/IRDS integration. A few hundred million more for stealth tanks, pylons, and open mission systems. We're talking numbers measured in millions, while NGAD is measured in billions. For taxpayers, the Raptor is a rounding error compared to the F-47. The F-47/NGAD program is still eating money with no jets on the flight line, with first squadrons expected only in the early 2030s. At $300 million per unit, each F-47 costs triple an F-35, a figure guaranteed to give budget hawks chest pain. Washington plays its usual games. The Air Force trims F-35 orders, slows the Navy's F/A-XX, and shuffles cash to keep NGAD breathing. The president calls it investing in the future. Boeing calls it salvation. Lockheed calls the Raptor upgrades essential. And Congress? They yell about the price, then sign anyway, because nobody wants to be blamed for losing the skies. So here's the budget math. Billions for a ghost we haven't seen fly. Millions to keep the world's deadliest fighter sharp. In the halls of power, both get funded. But in the Pacific, only one is ready to fight tonight. What's actually changing on the F-22? So what exactly are those millions buying? First, the eyes. For decades, the F-22's weakness was that it fought blind outside of radar. That changes with the infrared search and track system, IRST/IRDS. A $270 million integration effort puts a 360-degree missile warning and stealth detection suite on the Raptor. Unlike radar, which can be jammed or give away position, IRST is passive. It looks for the heat signatures of enemy stealth fighters, drones, or incoming missiles. China's PLAF can roll out J-20s, J-36s, or whatever comes next. But with IRST, the The Raptor doesn't have to radiate to see them. Silent vision in every direction. Second, the range. The F-22 was always criticized for short legs, about 590 nautical miles combat radius compared to the F-35's 670. In the Pacific, that's a death sentence. Distances between bases are vast. The fix? Stealth 600-gallon drop tanks and faceted pylons. These aren't ordinary gas cans. They're shaped for radar low observability, and the pylons themselves are designed to be jettisoned cleanly so the jet can go back to full stealth mode. With them, the Raptor finally stretches its legs. Supersonic dash range with tanks means it can launch from Guam or Japan, fight over Taiwan, and come back. Third, the brain. The cockpit is being rewired with open mission systems. That means no more waiting years for software updates. Plug-and-play avionics, faster upgrades, easier integration of new weapons. The pilot gets a new Scorpion helmet-mounted display, bringing the Raptor up to F-35 standards. Queuing weapons just by looking at a target, linking with wingmen, and tracking multiple threats without head-down radar scans. Fourth, the skin and nerves. Lockheed Martin is refreshing the Raptor's stealth coatings and low observable materials. Combined with electronic warfare suite updates and cyber hardening, the jet isn't just harder to see, it's harder to kill. Survivability in a modern A2/AD environment depends on more than radar stealth. It's also about resisting jamming, spoofing, and missile seekers. The Raptor is getting that resilience. And finally, the teeth. The weapons bay remains lethal, but what it carries is changing. The Raptor will be the first operational platform for the AIM-260 JTM, a beyond visual range missile designed to outstick China's PL-15, which already outranges AMRAAM. Reports suggest JATM's reach exceeds 200 kilometers, and Raptors can carry 6 of them internally, alongside short-range AEM-9X. Lockheed has already tested record AMRAAM shots to prove the concept. And on the horizon, the Mako hypersonic missile, sized to fit the Raptor's bay. Imagine Mach 5+ strikes from a stealth platform. No warning, no defense. A fighter built in the 1990s, now loaded for the 2030 fight, and for a fraction of the cost of a new program. When these upgrades hit full stride, every Raptor squadron becomes a nightmare for Chinese or Russian planners. F-22 versus F-47. Roles, not rivals. The F-22 Raptor and the F-47 NGAD aren't rivals. They're two different animals bred for the same hunt. The Raptor is the veteran heavyweight. Kinematics nobody can match, stealth that still embarrasses enemy radars, and now a suite of upgrades that stretch its life into the 2030s. The F-47 is the new breed. Bigger, longer-legged, AI-driven, and ruinously expensive. Start with the F-47. This is Boeing's win under the Air Force's Next Generation Air Dominance (NGAD) program. Its projected combat radius is over 1,000 nautical miles, nearly double the Raptor's 590 before drop tanks. Its adaptive cycle engines are the first of their kind. GE's XA100 and Pratt's XA101 designs, switching between high-efficiency cruise and high-thrust combat modes. Numbers? We're talking 30% more range and 10% more thrust than today's F-119 and the Raptor. The F-47 isn't just a fighter, it's a hub. Each one is designed to control up to 5 collaborative combat aircraft, CCAs, autonomous drones acting as scouts, missile trucks, jammers, or kamikaze strikers. The Air Force wants 1,000 CCAS online by 2030, costing $20 to $25 million each. A single F-47 with its digital Wolf Pack could overwhelm defenses in a way no 4th-gen squadron ever could. But the price is obscene. The Raptor cost about $150 million per jet in 2005 money, around $230 million today. The F-35A costs $82 to $90 million per copy. The F-47? Estimates run $300 million per aircraft, with development sucking $2.5 to $3.5 billion every year through the late 2020s. And here's the catch. The Air Force may only be able to buy 150 F-47s, maybe fewer, because the budget can't sustain both NGAD and other priorities like the B-21 bomber. Now flip to the F-22. About 183 combat-coded Raptors remain in service. With upgrades, IRST, AIM-260, stealth tanks, new EW suites, each one costs tens of millions to modernize, not hundreds. For less than the price of a single F-47, the Air Force can keep dozens of Raptors sharp for another decade. And their performance isn't obsolete. Thrust-to-weight ratios near 1.25, sustained Mach 1.8 plus supercruise, instantaneous turn rates unmatched by any rival. Add a 200-kilometer AIM-260, and a Raptor patrol becomes a no-fly zone. Together, the plan is simple. The F-47 leads the deep fight, acting as quarterback for CCAs, striking hundreds of miles inside Chinese airspace. The F-22 holds the mid-fight, guarding tankers, AWACS, and bases, slashing through enemy fighters and anchoring the air superiority mission until NGAD numbers catch up. One is evolution, the other revolution. And the reason both exist? China and Russia. China is already fielding over 200 J-20 Mighty Dragons, with production estimates of 50 to 70 jets per year. They've unveiled mock-ups of the J-36 Trijet and the J-50 Delta Wing, both prototypes allegedly flown in 2024. These 6th-gen designs promise supercruise, AI teaming, and weapons bays large enough for long-range PL-15 and even rumored PL-21 missiles. The PL-15 already reaches 200 kilometers, threatening U.S. tankers and AWACS. The PL-21, if real, could stretch to 300 kilometers with ramjet propulsion. China's hypersonics are just as alarming. The DF-17 medium-range missile flies at Mach 5 to 10, reaching 1,600 kilometers. The DF-21D carrier killer and DF-26 intermediate-range missiles put every U.S. base and carrier in the Pacific at risk. That's why mobility and range are everything, and why the F-47's 1,000-mile legs and the F-22's new stealth tanks matter. Russia is a smaller but still dangerous player. They've delivered about 20 Su-57 Felons with plans for 70 by 2028, but sanctions and funding limit that dream. More troubling are their weapons. The R-37M missile can hit targets out to 400 kilometers at speeds near Mach 6, giving Russian fighters a long-reach standoff punch. And then there's the S-400 and S-500 SAM systems, designed to threaten stealth aircraft with massive radar arrays and high-speed interceptors. Moscow also keeps hyping the MiG-41, a so-called 6th-gen interceptor promising Mach 4 to 5 speeds and anti-satellite weapons. Whether vaporware or not, it feeds the same logic. U.S. fighters need stealth, range, and missile reach to survive in any contested battle space. Which brings us back to the upgrades. The F-22's IRST gives it the ability to see stealth. The AIM-260 outranges the PL-15. Stealth tanks extend its patrol lines to cover Pacific corridors, and the F-47, if it delivers, provides the endurance and digital integration to coordinate hundreds of drones against China's sheer numbers. This is the new order of battle. F-22s, about 180 jets upgraded and lethal now. F-47s, maybe 150 jets, entering service in the 2030s. Chinese J-20s, over 200 already flying, with 6th-gen prototypes in motion. Russian Su-57s, small fleet but dangerous missiles and SAMS. That's the picture. But the prize isn't money, it's air dominance. Whoever owns the sky owns the war. And if you want to keep watching where the next trillion disappears, into Raptors, Phantoms, or maybe Elon's Twitter Air Force someday, you know what to do. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and stay locked in. The skies of the 2030s are about to get loud.